Hi, I'm Sarah. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Sarah. My name's Carly.
Hi, would you like to hang up your coat?
Sure, thank you.
You can just come take a seat.
Okay, great, thanks.
So, how's the weather been treating you?
It's all right. I've been pretty cold out there. It's chilly.
Yeah, that's for sure. Did you have an okay time finding this place?
Yeah, it was a little bit hidden like you said it would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fine. Parking was a little crazy, but it was all good.
Okay, well, I'm glad you found it okay.
Thank you.
All right, so I guess we'll just kind of get right into it, and I want to go over the confidentiality policy with you. So anything you say to me will stay in between us, but if I do believe it's of harm to yourself or anyone else that may be involved, I will tell my supervisor.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Then, what brought you in today?
I guess I'm just having like a lot of anxiety and struggling quite a bit with my situation as far as like my profession.
Okay.
So essentially what's happening is like I am in a job that I've been at for 6.5 years. I'm an early childhood educator. I work in a daycare and I love it. I love my job. Unfortunately though, with the position that I'm in, it's not that well paying.
Okay.
That's just kind of the industry that it is, and I knew that going into it. But I'm also now in school part-time, and so I'm also faced with a lot of financial costs because I'm not doing like student loans or just, other things like that, like any kind of other loans. So I'm also paying like, for car payments, phone payments, rent, all these other things like very much independently. And so, yeah, I guess I'm just facing a lot of stressors regarding finances. So that's kind of why I'm here.
Okay. Just to get a little bit of background, so you said you're an ECE at a daycare.
Mm-hmm.
What are you taking in school?
I'm actually taking social work.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in my 3rd year. The program itself is designed so that it's an evening and weekend program, so I can still maintain my position within the daycare full time, and then I'm going to school part time and obtaining that. So it's kind of where I'm at, and just I am very busy. But yeah, like I said, the strain of the finances is kind of just like weighing very heavily on me. So.
Okay.
That's kind of what's going on. A little background for you.
Okay, so let me just make sure I grabbed all of that. So you've been an ECE for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
You're in your 3rd year of social work.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And you're living on your own?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have all the finances by yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're saying that like one of the main things that brought you in was like the financial stress.
Mm-hmm.
Do you also find that you have some stress, like mental health issues going on, or?
I mean, I've been through a variety of, not to throw myself under the bus or anything like that, but just like a various relationships that haven't worked out for different reasons.
Okay.
Some worse than others. Some just, life happens, right? I mean, aside from that, I wouldn't say like mental health issues per se. It's just a lot of different things being thrown at me at once.
Okay. Do you find then that you feel a little anxious sometimes with all the stuff you have going on?
Definitely. Anxious, stressed, under pressure. You're expected to make all these payments on time, but like you don't have a well-paying position to be accommodating for these financial costs, school and otherwise. So it's challenging.
Okay. And now, if you don't mind me asking, how do you find school? Do you find you can keep up with the assignments?
I mean, school is okay. It's, like I said, on a part-time basis, so I'm still working full-time, and school, like I'm taking 2 courses at once right now while working full-time, but it doesn't interfere, doesn't conflict or anything with my own schedule. So, I mean, obviously, like anybody else, there's tests, there's papers to be done, but yeah, I think I handle it relatively well. I think I juggle it okay as far as like my work schedule, my personal life, and then school on top of it. So I think I'm doing all right. It's just the pressures of needing to meet deadlines, like academically as well as financially. So
okay, so it sounds like you're saying you do feel stressed, but it's not anything too overwhelming that you don't feel like you can handle.
Right, like to an extent, I guess. Like it just depends. Like sometimes the handling it in terms of that. Sometimes I feel like I can handle it better than I can at other times. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does.
So that's kind of why I'm here to see you today, and just kind of to get some ideas and some guidance as to where I can go, or like even what my options are in terms of, I guess, the financial piece of it, or budgeting wise, or things that could really help me to stay on track with my finances.
Okay. Well, I do have a few ideas about that. But before we get into them, I do just want to kind of get a better understanding of you and your situation. So your work, you're an ECE. At the daycare you said you've been at for 6 years. How are you finding that job? Do you have any stressors there, or do you find you get along with your coworkers very well?
My stressors are relatively limited. However, it is a very demanding profession. I think one that's very overlooked by people who are not necessarily involved in the profession as a parent or employee.
Okay.
It's very draining. It can be very draining depending on how you handle your daily situations. And I'm talking about like, emotional things that are going on, like emotional stressors. It's physically demanding. A lot of like, I don't know, a lot of different scenarios can be thrown at you, and you got to be ready for it. And some days, obviously, like any job, are better than others. But it's very, it's just very demanding. They're children. They're needing a lot of guidance and a lot of help. And sometimes you're on your game more than you are other days. But yeah, it can be draining. It can be great, and it can be draining.
Okay. I'm just trying to get a better aspect of your life and the situations and the scenarios you might be facing. So just going off of that, do you find that you have a lot of social supports?
Social as in like friendships or
family, friends?
Yes, definitely. I have a ton of friends in the profession and also outside of the profession.
Okay.
And they're good, like as emotional support, 100%. In terms of family, my parents don't live in the city. So, I mean, they're very supportive, 100%. But the distance kind of, as you might expect, is kind of a barrier. They're not as close as I would want them to be. They definitely contribute to a lot of the costs that I accumulate as a student and also just as a working professional with a low-paying profession. Again, unfortunately, the distance kind of makes it a little bit of, I don't want to say a strained relationship, but like
a struggle.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a struggle for sure. Yeah.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, are they within the province?
They're within the province. Okay. They're about an hour away.
Okay.
It's not like it's not doable. It's just
not an everyday.
Right, and especially our winters here, they're very unpredictable, and with that, you don't always see them maybe as much as you like. Things that I maybe would feel more comfortable talking to them about, I might withhold from like my social supports in terms of friends. So then I'm kind of at a loss for where do I go with what I'm experiencing maybe in that time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Would you then say that something you might seek out from this would be to look for a more stronger support system?
For sure, yeah. Okay. I'm definitely open to like different supports and maybe something that's relatable to kind of my own experiences, what I'm going through.
Okay, that's good. So just like a few other questions. Is there anything that you think would be important to me to understand your situation? Maybe religion, spirituality, culture, anything like that?
Well, I guess, and I've gotten this all my life, is I'm Métis on my dad's side, but I know like I've been criticized for this many times. Like I don't look Métis, or like our family, like my sister and I, we look more like my mom's side of the family, so
Okay.
our background is kind of a mixed bag in that sense. But like I definitely have my Métis card, my Harvester's card. So that is kind of like part of my background of like who I identify as.
Okay.
Again, like it doesn't really have much importance in terms of like the daycare profession that I'm in right now, because it's just, you know, you're employed, you're a daycare professional, and do your job, you know, so there's not much leeway or anything that's relevant in terms of that.
Okay. Do you also find maybe your religion has a large impact on you?
I mean, I don't think so. I would consider myself relatively private about my religion.
Okay.
Like I identify myself as like a Lutheran because that's how I was raised in my family.
Okay.
But like I don't push that on others, and I don't expect people to understand something that they don't or might not be open to, and that's okay with me. Like that's just it's personal choice, just like anything. But yeah, I don't really think that that's overly relevant.
Okay. So I just want to make sure I have this. Correct me if I've misunderstood anything.
Mm-hmm.
For social supports, you do have a friend system that you are close with. You also have your parents.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good, but it is sounding like you don't get to see them as often as you'd like,
Right.
which can not always be the best
Mm-hmm.
either. And then you are Métis,
Mm-hmm.
so you want to maybe show that, but you can't because you feel criticized by it.
It's just, I think people are very quick to think negatively as soon as you, maybe not expose that, but like people obviously have their own assumptions or preconceived ideas as to what being Indigenous is, and I think people kind of forget that it is a span of many things.
Okay.
And I think that there are certain attitudes that go along with identifying as Indigenous from people who just don't really understand what that means.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're very passionate about that.
Yeah, I am.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just changing paces a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
With some of the stressors that you do face, what do you find are some of your coping skills?
To be honest, like I don't really know. Yeah, I don't really know. Other than like what I like to consider calling it like venting with friends about it. That's kind of the only coping strategies that I've kind of.
Okay. Maybe if I rephrase the question, that might help. Mm-hmm. Is there some things that you do to help you relax? Do you like to maybe do yoga, exercise, watch movies? Is there anything you can think of?
In the spring, I like to play baseball.
Okay.
I'm on a baseball team. So we do that twice a week. In the winter, I'm pretty wrapped up in terms of studying for school, so I like to sleep.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not really considered coping, but
no,
it's my downtime, so that's what I feel like I need to do, so that's what I do, and I just sleep.
That's always good. I think we always want all more sleep. So, yeah.
Can't complain about more sleep.
Okay. So from what I'm getting, you do seem to have like a good grasp of your situation. Like you said, winter is a little bit hard to do more things that are help you with your situation, such as coping skills. Is that something you would be interested in?
Yeah, I would definitely be open. I would definitely be open to learning more about what my options are in terms of, you know, different coping strategies or even just suggestions that I could try.
Okay.
Because honestly, not that I feel like I'm at a loss at knowing what they are, I just kind of have never taken the initiative to really search them out to look a little deeper into it, I guess.
Yeah, that's understandable. Okay, so just before we dive in a little bit more about what we're going to do to help you with your situation, I would just kind of like to go over like the roles and responsibilities. So what are you expecting from me?
I guess my expectations of you would be kind of just guiding me through the different avenues as to where I need to go in terms of finding these different places or pathways or people that I can connect with in order to, you know, find my coping or whatever types of strategies that you feel like that you as a new set of eyes could like see that I need.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess that would be my expectation. I'd like to not build those connections for me, but to like lead me in the right
direction.
Yeah, in terms of like finding these new connections that I could connect with.
Okay. So mainly what you're looking for me to do is just to help you find some resources that maybe you can then do on yourself.
I think maybe you have better access to different networks that I could be connected with, and just shed a little bit of light on what they offer.
Okay.
That's kind of what I would be expecting, I guess.
Okay. Well, I do want to say you seem to have a lot of strengths. You are very committed to your work, it sounds like. You love to do your job, but you are also pursuing a better career for yourself. From some of the topics that we have talked about already today, you do seem passionate about the things that are important to you, so that's always good. I think it will help the situation that we're going to be dealing with in the fact that I can maybe give you a resource and then you will be able to take that into consideration and use that how you'd like. So that sounds
reasonable. Yeah, sounds really good.
Okay. So then maybe let's talk about the goals that we're going to want to try to set for you.
Okay.
So let's highlight maybe one of the biggest things that you find needs to be addressed, and then maybe we can break that down into smaller pieces.
Okay, so in my opinion, I think the biggest goal needing addressing kind of ASAP would be, I guess, the financial piece that I kind of was telling you about.
Okay.
Because I also have been playing around with the idea of maybe just the fact that I am paying out of pocket in terms of like my tuition, and that is such a hefty payment on top of paying my own rent. Maybe it's not a bad idea getting another job, like a part-time job, to help with some of those extra finances. But then I also kind of feel like at limbo in between this idea, because I'm already working a full-time job that, in my opinion, should be kind of supplementing some of these expenses, maybe not necessarily to the full extent of tuition, but enough that I shouldn't feel like I'm at such a struggle financially that I am.
Okay.
I think that would be like my number one goal to
look at your financial situation
and just to like get a better handle and understanding on some of those things.
Okay. So now, if you don't mind, we will definitely focus on your financial stressors. Would you also say that it would be fair maybe to look at maybe doing something related to the anxiety you might feel towards school and your financial, maybe looking at other coping strategies?
Yeah, definitely. I think that kind of goes hand in hand with the financial stressors. I mean, I think the amount of financial stress that someone in my position might be facing, it's kind of unavoidable that you're going to run into these feelings of anxiety and hopelessness and just pressures, like everyday pressures, because every day there's another financial barrier to overcome.
Okay.
So yeah, I definitely think that would be something to take a look at.
Okay. And just so I can get a better understanding of your financial situation, so you are living by yourself and you're paying rent and all the things that come along with it, such as hydro, food, obviously for yourself. And then you're paying for school on top of that.
Yeah.
So do you find that maybe, like, just to put it into perspective for me, if you weren't going to school, you'd be okay financially? Is, like, school what's the major financial strain?
I think had I not been going to school, it would be just a lot more financially comfortable.
Okay.
With saying that, you don't get very far by just being comfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think it would be easier if that's what you
I'm just asking that so that I can get a perspective of what type of financial strain you are feeling. If you weren't going to school, would you still kind of be financially strained, or would you be at, like you said, a comfortable place?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I think it would be definitely more comfortable, but like I said earlier, I refuse to just settle on something that I know won't benefit me later. So struggle now, ease up later.
Okay, that's good to know. Makes you seem very committed, so that's always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then just to clarify, you said you were in your 3rd year of the program, and it's a 5-year or 6-year program?
It's a 6-year program.
Okay.
The 5th and 6th year are both practicum based.
Okay.
So 1 to 4 is primarily theory, and then 5 and 6 are practicum. There is obviously more formal classes at the same time, but the focus by year 5, 6 is
on the field.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good. I just wanted to kind of get a grasp. So let's just start kind of thinking about the goals that we can attain for you.
Mm-hmm.
When we set these goals, I do want them to be realistic so that we can accomplish them.
Okay.
So focusing on the financial one.
Okay.
You said you were Métis. Have you ever heard of the Manitoba Métis Federation?
I have. Like I said before, I have my Métis and my harvester's card. I know there is like certain things people have gone to do with the Métis Federation, but I'm not 100% invested in terms of the federation itself.
Okay.
I obviously know it exists. I know a small amount of background information about it and the people involved, but maybe not to its fullest extent.
Okay. Well, so then I'm not sure then if you'd be aware, sometimes they do like to help Métis individuals as yourself with schooling. So I believe it's a 2-year program they'll do for payment. So because you still have 3 years left, that could be something we could look into for you.
Yeah, that would be
great. And then maybe see how much they're willing to help and the boundaries and restrictions on that.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can get some information for you. I can either look into it or I can give it to you and you can look further into that.
Okay, sure.
Whichever you're more comfortable with.
Okay. Would you be able to connect me with a contact?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'll take you up on that.
Okay. And then I can get you that at the end of this session.
Okay.
And then you can try to contact them by next week, and then we can talk about it by then.
Okay, that'd be great.
Okay. So that was kind of your first goal, was the financial thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Will be our main focus, and then next week we can discuss what you found out.
Okay.
And maybe I can look into it a little bit as well, just to see what information I might be able to get from a social work perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can come back and combine on that and maybe see what else we can do for you financially.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah, that sounds really good.
And then let's look at another goal. You were saying your coping skills, that you don't really tend to have any during winter.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So maybe that's something we should look at for a goal for you, is finding something that can help you de-stress, just to maybe give you a little bit of peace of mind, maybe away from work and school, and something that is, I don't want to say more productive than sleep, because we all know we need sleep.
But more healthy?
Maybe not even more healthy, just something that you can do, maybe take 5-minute break to do something and then get back to what you were doing, just to help calm you down.
Yeah.
Does that seem like
that'd be really good.
A good goal?
Yeah.
Okay. Going off of that then, you said you play sports in the spring. So are you an active person then?
I mean, I think I am to an extent. I'm definitely not that person who is going to go to the gym and run every single day. That's just not who I am, and I'm way too busy to do that.
That's fair.
At the same time, I definitely stay active in different things, obviously more so in the summer than in the winter. So I think maybe a good, I won't say help, but essentially help or something to look into more would be just different things maybe I could get involved with. For the winter months, because they are long, they're dragged out, and as a student I'm busy, but I mean, I'm always open to new ideas and new possibilities. Okay.
Now, if you are not comfortable with it, you can completely shut it down. Have you ever considered doing meditation or yoga?
I've done yoga twice. The first time was hot yoga, so that was beyond boiling hot and new for me, but I didn't hate it. meditation I would like to get into more, but I haven't really found kind of like my jive with it. Like, I wouldn't really know where to look in terms of, do you just YouTube it and, try and commit that way? Or is there something that's accessible somewhere that I'm just not sure of?
Okay, well, if you're not really sure yet and you'd like to try it, there are, like you said, YouTube. You can always type in meditation and you can just clear space on your floor and try that. And then if you do like it, we can look again next week, try furthering that and seeing what available resources there are for you.
That sounds good.
And then that way you'll know if you like it, if we should look into it, or
I think my fear for that is I wouldn't commit to watching it at home. As you know, being at home, there's so many other things that you're still thinking of that need to be done. I think being in my own home environment, I get too distracted and then caught up in the moment of my own thoughts of, I need to do this, I need to do that, what's due for school, do I have payments coming up? There's always a running list that needs to happen, especially when you're at home. That's when you start thinking about these kind of things.
Okay.
That's what comes to mind when I think of like trying to dedicate it to YouTube.
Okay. I just wanted you to try it first before we really
invest in it,
just to make sure that you...
I'll try it. I'll give it a try, and I'll try and be mindful of watching it and being open to it. I'll definitely give that a shot.
There are definitely ones, too, that you can do. Like you said, sleep is something you like to do to relax. So you can always... There's ones that are just audio that you can find on YouTube. So you could put it on just before bed.
Okay, and I did not know that.
Yeah, you can always try that and see how that works. And if you do enjoy it, then maybe move on to watching, or maybe continue to do the audio ones and just...
That's a really great idea.
Close your eyes and rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right up my alley.
Okay. So we'll do that one as well. You can try that this week if you'd like.
Yeah,
or if you want the week after, we can always manage them like that.
Okay.
And then if you like it, we can continue to look further into it. If you don't, we can come up with other strategies.
Okay.
So you're on board for trying it?
Yeah, definitely. Anything that puts me to sleep.
All right. And then I just want to set one more goal.
Okay.
Kind of similar to coping strategies, but more so on the side of social supports.
Okay.
So it does sound like you have good relationships with the people who are around you and they do support you. Like you said, you like to vent with them and stuff like that. Would you consider maybe doing counseling?
I mean, I'm definitely not closed off to it, to the idea. Obviously, being in the profession of social work, it's something I definitely try and promote even in my own personal life with other people. So yeah, it's definitely something I would try. I would try anything once to see how it goes for me. And I think with counseling, there's a lot of flexibility in terms of connecting with another person and seeing if that relationship works out in terms of talking things through and seeing what kind of supports and ideas and just ideas in general that you can get from someone else. So yeah, I'm definitely open to that.
Okay, well, I've given you quite a bit of tasks for this week to do. So maybe what I'll do is the next time we meet, I will have a few counselors that we can go through together. I can tell you the strengths that I find with them, and then that way, if, say, you're more comfortable with a female, we can always go that direction. Things like that we can work through, and then by next week we'll talk about it, and you can maybe give that a try.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will look into that, and I will have it ready the next time we meet. So now the next thing we are going to do is to formulate a contract between us.
Okay.
So this will be more of a verbal contract right now, and I will formulate one for next time that is more written down that we can go through.
Okay.
It's just to kind of agree to the goals that we've established here, and that I'm going to do what I've promised you, and that you will also follow through.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So I just want to go over finally then, just before our time is up, the 3 goals we've set, and our tasks for each of us.
Sure.
So
sounds good.
The first goal was financial.
Yes.
So I will, right after we're done in here, I'll go out and I'll find you a number and an email if you'd like
Okay.
of the person you can meet at the Manitoba Métis Federation for your schooling.
Mm-hmm.
I'll also continue to look into that this week and see if I can find out some information as well.
Okay.
And then we're going to try the coping skill with the relaxation meditation.
Yeah.
So you are going to try that. And then a third goal we had set this session, was that I will, for next time we meet, have information for counselors for you, and we can go through that and see if you would like that as another coping strategy for support.
That'd be really good.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely open to that. Definitely open to like everything that you've said as far as those goals up until now. Like sounds really good. Like just as a starting platform.
Okay.
I think those will be really good. I see those being very beneficial, and just want to let you know, like I really appreciate you reaching out and getting these additional supports in place and just this additional help. I really appreciate that.
All right. Well, with that, it was great to meet you.
Yeah, it was great meeting you too.
And I look forward to seeing you next week when our meeting is scheduled again.
Likewise.
And I hope all goes well this week.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.